I impulse bought 110 volumes of manga and then challenged myself to read them all in a month to improve my Japanese reading ability. This is my story. Alright, I'm about to get started with this manga challenge. I'm pretty excited. I was supposed to have 110 manga to read, but I ended up going out and buying a few more. I think it's 127 I gotta read now, so I'm not positive I can do it, but I'm gonna try. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling like I can totally do it. I'm really excited to start with my first timed reading. I'm gonna read the first episode of Nichijou, and then I'm gonna read the final book at the end of the project to see if I'm any faster. They're about the same length. 4 to 5 hours a day. I'm ready. Let's go. This first one took me 1 hour and 45 minutes. I thought it would take me 40 minutes to an hour. I read slowly. This is gonna take a while. I'm on book 13 of Dorohedoro. I was pretty disappointed in my speed at the beginning of this thing. I started off with 2 hours and 10 minutes, I think, on the first Dorohedoro. With that time in mind, I figured it was going to take me about 2 weeks to finish this whole series, and that does seem to be how long it's going to take. I am really enjoying Dorohedoro. There's no furigana in this, so if I don't know a kanji, I have to write it into the iPad, and then I'm using a Japanese to Japanese dictionary, so that makes it take a little bit longer than it would if I was just using a regular Japanese to English dictionary. And there's a lot of words that I'm starting to not to have to look up, like they show up a lot, or I see kanji in another word and I know the reading, and then it makes it searching it up a lot easier. So I am getting faster in that sense, but this is a hard one. I probably should have started on something a little bit easier just to get sort of the wheels turning. Wait, what is this kanji? Oh my god. Didn't I already see this one? Again? Wait, why are there so many words? Did they really need to talk this much? I was feeling super tired the other day and I felt like I wasn't making any progress. My eyes were starting to hurt because I'm reading so much. And I saw a post on Twitter of someone who was dieting, and they were talking about trend lines and how they really helped put things in perspective. And I'm like, well, I'm making a spreadsheet. Why don't I see if I can make a chart with a trend line of my progress, just to see if I actually am making any progress. And I felt like I wasn't. I felt like I wasn't getting faster. I felt like I was either staying the same or maybe getting slower. But this is what I found. Turns out I'm getting faster almost every day. It was such a relief. It's like, okay. I had one of those moments where I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not that good at Japanese. I've been doing it for all this time and I still can't read very fast. Like, come on. You still get those times when you're studying a language where it's just like, have I learned anything? These trend lines, they really helped put things in perspective. Like, okay, not only am I not terrible at this, I'm making progress. So I've been away at Yuki's parents for a few days, so I haven't been able to read as much as I would like to, only about 2 hours per day. But we are moving into week 3, and I'm finally almost finished with Dorohedoro. This is book 22. I should finish this today. I was feeling really down for a while last week. Not down, but like I was feeling like I wasn't improving much, but my speed has definitely picked up a lot. I think it was just a matter of getting used to reading the manga format. Like I just haven't done it much. I only read like 2 comic books as a teenager. One other thing I've noticed is that I've been timing myself for all of the books that I've been reading. I don't like doing that. I have to do it just to keep track, make sure I'm doing 4 hours per day, and it's nice to be able to track my speeds and stuff. But I think if I could just pick the book up anytime and not have to worry about setting a timer, I'd probably do it more. When I have a free 10 minutes, I tend to not pick up the book and read it because I feel like I have to set a timer. So that's kind of counterproductive. I'd probably be able to go faster if I didn't do that. Next week, I'm gonna be moving into some easier content, so hopefully I'll start moving a little bit faster. We'll see. It's 8 o'clock on September 10th, and I finally finished the final book in Dorohedoro. I really enjoyed that. So I just finished One Punch Man, or at least the 10th book in One Punch Man. This series was much faster to read than Dorohedoro, but I'd say that the vocabulary was actually harder. But I didn't really want to stop. Like, I could have read it all day. The story is really fun. I enjoyed the anime as well, but reading it in the book is just as much fun. It's been a while since I watched it, so a lot of it was not new, but I had forgotten about it. The last book, book 10, it's not the last book in the series, but the last one I read, was a lot longer. Not more pages, but just like a lot more to read. So it took me a lot longer than any of the other books, which was a bit surprising, like a lot longer. There was a lot more. The story really picked up, started to get a little tiring, but I had less lookups in that book than any of the other books, so it was interesting. But I think I'm gonna move on to Yotsubato, which I should be able to blast through. So far, so good. I've got a confession to make. I failed. I completely failed on this project. About a week or 2 ago, I basically stopped reading. Now, I have excuses. I have pretty good excuses, but they are excuses. One excuse is that I was training for a half marathon and that sort of occupied my whole mind for a while, and I just couldn't focus. But the truth is, I kind of burned out. So the first thing that really burned me out, I think, was using a timer every time I read. Now, a way I would fix this in the future is I'd probably either just set aside a manga that I was gonna read untimed for those little in-between times, and then just have a few that I was reading with a timer, or just cancel the timer altogether and try and just go by sense whether I was doing it enough or not. And that actually leads me to another thing. I was basically only reading one series at a time. Some people like doing that, but I found that for myself, even with regular books in English, I like to have a few books that I'm reading at the same time on different subjects or different difficulty levels, because it keeps me interested. If I'm just reading one super difficult book, even in English, like a philosophy book or something, I'll probably get pretty tired after reading that after a little while, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to keep reading. So having like a novel or something a lot lighter when I just want to relax is really nice and keeps me reading. It's like having 3 or 4 different levels of manga to go through at the same time, I feel like could keep the variety going and stop you from burning out, stop me from burning out. So I spent a couple days doing what I said I was gonna do and just reading various different manga throughout the day. When I got bored of one, I moved on to another one. I took one that was easy and one that was a little bit harder, and that's been going much better than before. I'm still having a much harder time focusing on this than I did on the DS project, because honestly, I'd rather just play DS games, I guess. I don't know what to say. I think that's just me. But I am gonna keep going on this challenge. I think I have about 10 days left. Dragon Ball is fun. It's actually really fun. I really like Dragon Ball. I'm having a good time with it. It's silly. Shiakusho is also probably one of the better ones that I've picked up so far. I don't know if I call it a story, it's little episodes, but I've read both of these today, and I'm kinda getting bored with them, so I think I'm gonna pick up another one. Maybe I'll start Black Cat or Liar Game or something. So I'm back from a weekend. I had to take a couple days off because I had a festival and recovery time after the festival, but I'm back into it, and I'm starting on book 4 of Black Cat right now. I just read book 3 today. I'm kinda getting really into Black Cat. I have a feeling I'm gonna have a hard time actually finishing the whole series. I have all 20 books in the series, but it may not be possible. It is what it is. One thing to add to that is that possibly one of the reasons that I'm enjoying it so much is that I've just stopped worrying about how long it takes. It seems that it wasn't that I didn't like manga, it was that I didn't like trying to rush through manga. So that's cool. I'm glad I figured that out. About to start book 19 of Black Cat. There's only one book left after this. I'll probably finish it today. Super excited, although a little bit sad that it's gonna be ending. But I got super into this, way more than I expected, and I found out that there's 3 novels, like 3 light novels that were written based on this, and I bought those for like, I don't know, $1 each on Amazon, so I'm excited for those to come. And I also found out there's a PS2 game and a DS game, so I got both of those. One thing I really felt while reading this, especially in the last few books, and something I felt during Dorohedoro as well, is that when you're doing just a single series and you go through a bunch of the books, you kind of get used to the author's way of writing and his use of vocabulary and grammar and all that stuff. And it gets easier and easier and easier. And maybe it's not so much that you've learned a bunch more, although that's probably part of it, but when you get used to a writer's style, you can sort of rush right through it without actually having to stop to think over what they've actually written. And when you get used to that, it gets a lot easier. So that is definitely a benefit of continuing through a whole entire series, because it just gets easier and easier the further you go, no matter what level you are. Also, only a few days left in this series. I wasn't able to get as far as I challenged myself to get, but you might remember this clip. I think I can do 60 in a month. Well, I'm over 60 now, and it looks like I'm gonna get close to 70 or more, so at least I beat my original estimate of how far I could go. I finished it. Finished Black Cat. Man, what a good series. I'm so glad that I picked this one up. Thanks to Yuki for this suggestion. This is the first manga I've read where I've been like, okay, I get it now. This is fun. There's some really good stuff out there. I highly recommend this one. Pretty high level, but super fun. I was starting to feel like maybe I didn't actually like manga, like in the middle there, but that's definitely not the case, I guess. I enjoyed it. Really have enjoyed it lately. So happy. It's the last day. I finally made it. I read another book of Nichijou the other day, and I got 20 minutes off my time on the first one, so that's awesome. I was hoping to do a little more, but only doing about 4 hours a day. Obviously, you're not gonna improve that much in a month. I read a couple more books of Nichijou, but I found that, I don't know, it's not the type of series that makes me want to really move on to the next one really bad. It's sort of a relaxing sort of series, and reading them all in a row at an hour and 20-minute pace per book, it's just not what I'm really into at the moment. So I switched over to Made in Abyss. That one was a reality check. It doesn't have furigana, and it was a little bit harder than I expected, I guess. But I'm gonna finish the first one, and then I'll probably read 1 or 2 of another series that I haven't started yet, just to check them out. It's a bummer that I didn't get to finish everything, but I still did better than I expected, a little bit better than I expected at least.
69 manga completed. Nice. For a total of 13,953 pages in 30 days. What really surprised me though was how much faster I got at reading. I tested this using the first book in the light novel Re:Zero. Before starting this project, I was able to read 8 pages in 30 minutes with a total of 53 lookups. After finishing this project, I was able to read 11.5 pages with only 30 lookups. That's a 43% improvement, and a significant improvement in vocabulary and kanji knowledge. I honestly wasn't expecting quite this much. If that surprised you, or you like this video, please hit the like button. It really helps. Next, I'm doing visual novels, so if you're interested in that, get subscribed so you don't miss it. By the way, if you're a beginner but would like to do a project like this someday yourself, TokenYandy.com might be able to help you with that. We take you through all the grammar presented in the Genki textbooks, so N5 to N4, and support that with fun reading and listening material for each lesson, which will help you not only reinforce the grammar you've learned, but will also teach you new vocabulary and context. We even help you with speaking by giving you tons of shadowing practice. Once again, that's TokenYandy.com, link in the description.